collard greens, mac and cheese, yams, red beans, black-eyed peas, and more. And of course, hot water cornbread, satisfying drinks, and delicious desserts. Lonnell's is a great place for brunch, lunch, or dinner. If it's good enough for us, it's good enough for you, because we've got your black. So head on over to Lonnell's Soul Food Cuisine at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles and tell Lonnell you heard about it on KBLA Talk 1580.
System tries to bring you down. Never had to shine at night. You don't need darkness to do what you think is right.
It's the musical Sly Stone. All 3 hours of our program today. June is Black Music Month, and so we do this every day anyway. During the month of June, we choose a different artist of the day and play some of the best of their catalog, weaving in and out of these conversations all 3 hours of our show. And given the transition of Sylvester Stewart yesterday, we have been playing all 3 hours, the best of Sly and the Family Stone. And I thank Jay King for that rich conversation in tribute to Sly Stone. In this final hour of our program today, 2 conversations as promised. On the backside of this hour, comedian Daphnique Springs talks about her new Hulu special, LOL Live, presented by Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Productions. Plus, Daphne has a big Juneteenth show coming up and a string of national tour dates. We'll get into all of that on the backside of this hour. We'll get our laugh on with Daphnique Springs. We commence this hour in dialogue with Rachel Laryea, racial wealth expert at JPMorgan Chase, anthropologist at Yale, and author of the new book, Black Capitalist, A Blueprint for What is Possible. Rachel, good to have you on. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Tavis.
My pleasure. I was sort of chuckling to myself. You may have heard me laugh a little bit when I was reading that introduction. How is it possible that she's a racial wealth expert at JPMorgan Chase, an anthropologist at Yale, and an author? When do you sleep, Rachel?
I know. I make 26 hours in a day instead of 24.
Yeah, I'm mad at you. But seriously, though, what have you learned over the years about how to compartmentalize, how to balance, how to do all these things at such a high level?
People ask me what's my work-life balance, what's my secret? And honestly, I don't have one. I think at different stages, different seasons of my life, whatever I'm most passionate about at that moment gets attention in some way. Somehow the aggregate of it all kind of works out, but the balance it's a tricky one. But I'd say that at any given time, I think I've really got an awesome community that supports me and helps me make it all work out.
Yep. To do all of that, and I know a little bit of something about this, of course, to do all of that means you have to make choices. So let me just let me ask why you chose this book, why you chose to write this book, Black Capitalist, A Blueprint for What is Possible.
Yeah, so I think for me, I've been, in a way, writing this book ever since I was a child. And that's because I've always been interested in the relationship between race and money, but didn't have the kind of scholarly language by which to talk about it. Growing up, I would always see depictions of wealth, and it was always correlated to whiteness. And so that got me really curious to think about what would it mean to be both Black and financially thriving, and what would be the cost of that. Yeah. It was the case for me growing up, whereby I was in these spaces of privilege, but never really felt like I had authority in them. One example, my mother immigrated to the US from Ghana back in the 80s, and through an affordable housing program, she was able to win a lottery and ultimately buy her first home in the United States. And it was in the wealthiest county in Northern Virginia at that time. And so I saw all of these depictions of white wealth, and I was in this community, but for on account of rather an affordable housing program that made it possible. And so I was always curious about how my marginalized experience could be centered. And again, those questions of what does Black thriving look like? What's the road to achieving it? And what's the cost to achieving it as well? And then throughout the course of my personal and professional life, I just had more and more experiences where, again, I was just seeing a correlation between whiteness and wealth that got me really curious and passionate about creating and writing stories that speak to, productive potential that can happen when Black people participate in capitalism in very strategic, communal ways.
We're going to talk more about race and money as we come forward in this conversation, but Rachel's last comment had me wrestling with 3 or 4 thoughts running through my mind all at the same time. I love to connect these dots for our listening audience. I got a really bright audience all across the country, but I just like to drill down on this sometimes, on the things that a particular guest may say in real time. She mentions Ghana. We talked yesterday about a free trip to Africa that Black kids in Michigan are taking. They're all from low-income communities. They are the first person in their families and the generations of their family to travel internationally. We celebrated that program yesterday that's taking off in a few weeks on this way to Africa, to Ghana and Egypt specifically. Secondly, we just talked in our last hour about the travel ban that went into effect yesterday that the Trump administration has put in place, most from African countries, right? We talked yesterday about immigrant success versus this narrative of immigrant crime that Donald Trump tries to advance. In the midst of all of that comes Rachel Laryea with this story of her mother immigrating here from Ghana all those years ago. Talk about immigrant success. And her baby has now written a book called Black Capitalist, a blueprint for what is possible. Lord help me, what is possible? She's Exhibit A. More with Rachel Laryea when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
And it just don't go like that. Yeah, yeah. I know how it feels for people to stop, turn around and stare, signify limping, and low rate me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't mind. I'm the under. No, I can handle it. I'm the under. I'm the under.
From Lamert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least liked to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
BET and PBS, the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley.
Texting enrolls you into recurring recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321321. That's EQUAL to 321321.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
Sly and the Family Stone were so ahead of their time. We have taken the opportunity all 3 hours today to just give you a taste of this deep catalog, this deep library of Sly and the Family Stone, given Sly's transition yesterday at the age of 82. We continue, as we do every day on this program, in the month of June to celebrate Black Music Month, and today it was appropriate to make Sly Stone our artist in residence. Our guest in this half hour is Rachel. I read a new book called Black Capitalist, A Blueprint for What is Possible. Rachel, I was saying, you were actually saying a moment ago that what fascinated you about this, this audience knows that I love the backstory. I say it all the time. And I'm always fascinated by why and how people choose to do what they do. So I asked you, why this book, and you said that you were always fascinated by this notion of race and money. Over the years, and certainly in your research for this book, what have you learned? What can you share with us about that intersection, race and money?
Yeah, I would say that, and it's also the biggest argument of the book, that race makes a difference in how we participate in capitalism. And that difference really teaches all of us something about how to create a more equitable version of the political economy that we live in today. When we think about both the beliefs and the behaviors that really inform how we think about the economy and our relationship to it, we should not ignore the role that our racial identities play in the creation of our beliefs and behaviors as well.
I was reading a number of pieces. Of course, I got the book, of course, and went through the book, but I was reading over the last few weeks a number of pieces preparing for this conversation. And I read a quote from you that I want to give you a chance to unpack here. And the quote is simply this: Black people can be the beneficiaries of a system they were violently forced to create and sustain. Black people can be the beneficiaries of a system they were violently forced to create and sustain. First of all, unpack that statement for me, and I've got some questions I want to ask about it.
Yeah, of course. So part of why this work, and for the book to be called Black Capitalists, it can create a very visceral response in people, for the very reason that when you look at the history of American capitalism built through legalized slavery, for many people, when they think of the term Black capitalist, is either oxymoronic or just flat out problematic in their minds, because it creates this tension and this question of how can you be a proponent of or adopt an economic system whereby our ancestors were forced to create a system that they were never able to be the beneficiaries of.
Mm-hmm.
And so that becomes the kind of identity crisis or the trouble in mind with this concept. But what I offer is an acknowledgement of the deeply, deeply rooted problems of capitalism globally, not just in an American context, but then wrestle with the reality that we have today more Black millionaires, at least in this country, than we've had. We also have the ever widening of the racial wealth gap, but then we also have evidence of Black economic thriving built through a kind of community mindset and is creating and engendering social good.
Yeah.
So that it brings forth this idea that what it means to be a Black capitalist, as I define it, which is a Black person who strategically repositions themselves within the economic system in order to engender social good.
Yeah.
There's evidence for this of how people are doing it sustainably, scalably, and doing it in a way whereby my own economic thriving and security is not dependent upon the exploitation of someone else.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, that is the hopefulness around how can we get through this moment that we're living in sociopolitically that makes us wonder about the kind of financial security any of us can have. But Black capitalists and the concept and the pragmatic theory of Black capitalism really gives us a way forward as we aim to ever strive towards a more liberatory future, an economic future for all of us.
Yep.
And so it wrestles with all of those tensions while also giving us a way to think about how we can use the tools of capitalism in service of us. Yep. When we've historically thought about it and participated in capitalism in ways that doesn't have any kind of generative potential for any of us.
Now, to your point, Black capitalists are certainly not the only ones who fit this bill, but it is one of the things I celebrate about the way we approach our work and our witness, as I like to call it. You mentioned social good a number of times. I want to come back to that now because there are so many of us who have found a way to prioritize social good even as we profit monetarily. Tell me about why you think that approach has been so important to us, more to the point why that approach has worked well for so many of us.
Yeah, because I think, especially within the Black community, having a communal mindset is so cultural for so many of us. And it's the foundation and the building blocks about how we even think about relationship to our communities, our families, in a local and a global context. And so what we do has the potential to touch other people's lives. And I think this is where it really starts to rupture paradigms about capitalism as we know it today, because capitalism does not nurture community. In fact, it nurtures individualism, exploitation, and extraction. And so then when you have this kind of Black capitalist mindset or the kind of race agnostic theory of Black capitalism, where anyone can engage in capitalism in a way that's going to create social good, it kind of focuses in on the fact that no one can sustain themselves in isolation, that it really does take community in order to live thriving lives, not just financially, socially, politically as well. And so I think that becomes an anchor and has been for us, but it just now with this concept of how do you engage in the economy in a way that's going to be communal forward, and, you know, the idea of the tide lifts all boats gives us yet another kind of opportunity to leverage the ways in which we've already behaved in a kind of communal mindset, but then to also attach that to economic empowerment, economic security for each other.
While Rachel Laryea's book is, in fact, entitled Black Capitalist, A Blueprint for What is Possible, she does not shy away, thankfully, and when I got into the text, I was looking for this. I'm glad I found it. She does not shy away from a critique of capitalism. Indeed, she regards and suggests that capitalism is a dirty game. Unpack that part for me as you see it, Rachel.
Yeah, you know, I spent years doing this research, and during that time spoke to hundreds of people. And when I would ask people, how do you define capitalism? How do you even define Wall Street? Many would say money is the root of all evil. Capitalism needs to be dismantled. Wall Street's the belly of the beast. And all of that has truth in it. And again, so much of it is rooted in just the kind of historic relationship that we have had to capitalism and the destruction and devastation that it's created in so many people's lives. and the intergenerational economic trauma many people hold and carry around, shame or disappointment when it comes to the relationship to money. And so it's important to hold space for all of that and the reality of that. But again, I think where the hopefulness comes in is we can be both critical of a system that has done tremendous harm, but then we can also make space for the belief and the reality that there are ways in which to engage in this if we get lined up together, get in community with one another, that can create new outcomes.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that. And so that's the potential for us.
I was fascinated in preparing for this conversation, Rachel, to read about your Ghanaian food business that you started as a student. And so I want to just take a moment here, make some time for you to just share a bit with the audience about your personal journey with capitalism.
Yeah, I've definitely evolved. It started first, as I mentioned, with kind of my mother and seeing her as a immigrant in this country and hustling, working 2 jobs, 7 days a week for my entire childhood, raising 2 kids alone, how she navigated the system in order to create something for myself, for my brother, and kind of her own striving for the American dream, regardless of how elusive it can be. And so that really kind of situated for me some of the stakes and the costs to create a life of comfort in this country. And so then I think just having the privilege of, being able to go to some of the best schools through, fully funded scholarships, and then my entry into the financial space, starting first at Goldman Sachs and now here at JPMorgan Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And then layer on, that hat, which I now wear as entrepreneur, and kind of really thinking through these questions of what does it mean to build a business where I'm proud of the ethics and the moral code and the culture that I'm creating within the business. How can I create a space whereby my team is happy to be at work? They feel valued for their intrinsic value as people, not just for whatever they produce and the output that they create. And so starting KBLA back in 2018 while I was in grad school at Yale was certainly a kind of new level, if you will, in the evolution of just really trying to think through those critical questions of how do you do this in practice? How do you be both profitable in business, but also be profitable in community in terms of creating a space whereby everyone can thrive, and not just financially, but mentally, spiritually, physically as well. And so that really kind of put me to the test, if you will, to really be about the things that I say, and also all of the kind of theories that I bring forth in the book is really pragmatic truths that we can all anchor on as a way to, as I say, secure the bag and the people.
Yeah. You mentioned pragmatic truths. How, to your mind, do a Black people, ever get comfortable in a relationship with, put another way, how do they ever embrace a system that appraises their homes lower than everybody else's homes, a system that continues to deny them access to capital, a system that ... How do Black folk ever get comfortable with embracing a system that's guilty of all of that?
And I'd say it's not about an embrace, but rather a strategic relationship to it. And so one theory that I love and I think really gives some material example for this is Fred Moten and Stefano Hardy, incredible scholars. They came up with a theory of the undercommons. And they talked about it in relation to academic institutions, but we can think about it in relation to any system or structure that we find ourselves in. And they said the undercommons is a space whereby, marginalized people are able to share resources, come together within an institution with the understanding and mindset that the institution that they're a part of, they're never naive to believe that that institution is a place of enlightenment. They know that that institution is not going to be liberatory or free them or center their marginalized experiences. But they should also never forget the fact that these institutions do have resources and opportunities that they can leverage in order to create a fortress around that undercommon space. And so again, while they were talking about, the academic institution, you can apply that thinking to capitalism. You can apply that thinking to living in America. All of these systems and structures, they can be contradictory. There can be elements where we're holding things in tension. People can have these kind of positive associations for whatever reason to America. Then there's also the reality that America disproportionately negatively affects Black and Brown people. And so it's how do you be both critical of something that you're in while still use it for your benefit and for your community's benefit. And so the power and the agency lies with that kind of strategic thinking around, okay, I know what this is. I know that it is not built in service of me, but I also know that if I operate in community, that there are ways in which we can use the tools of this system to create new outcomes for ourselves. And in the process of using the tools in that way, we reshape the system in our, again, striving to arrive at something that is going to be more liberatory. Because again, the capitalism we know today, it's not going to be the solution for us. But Black capitalism can be a solve for right now in our striving for a more hopeful and more equitable future.
It is a powerful polemic. It is a hopeful treatise on what is, in fact, possible for Black people. The book is called Black Capitalist, A Blueprint for What Is Possible. The author of that book is Rachel Laryea, who I have honored in having on this program. Rachel, thank you for the book. I deeply enjoyed it. Highly recommend it to others. And thank you for this conversation. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Tavis.
Good to have you on. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's baseball teams got a win last night. The Dodgers won their first game of the season against San Diego. They beat the Padres 8-7 in 10 innings in San Diego. The Angels beat Oakland 7-4 in Anaheim. Fifth straight win for the Angels over the A's. The Sparks lost for the second time this season to Golden State, the WNBA's new expansion franchise. Golden State held on for an 89-81 win at Crypto.com. The Sparks are 1-5 at home. Troubling news at Florida A&M. The HBCU school's athletic director, Angela Suggs, was arrested Monday on charges of fraud and theft. Police in Tallahassee, Florida claim Suggs ran up $24,000 in personal charges on a company credit card at a previous job. Suggs was released on bail. Florida A&M President Timothy Beard said he's aware of the charges surrounding Suggs, but gave no indication on how he plans to handle the situation. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Daphnique Springs, with a luncheon to follow. Daphnique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
He's a paradigm pioneer and the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try. Push a little harder, a little deeper. Don't let the plastic bring you down. Only give it now. You can make it if you try. You can make it if you try.
I'm Tavis Smiley. We made it to the last half hour of today's program, and now time to get our laugh on. It's been a difficult few days around here. Marines in L.A., National Guard in L.A., Donald Trump acting a fool as usual. The passing yesterday of Sly Stone at the age of 82. This giant artistic genius. We've been playing the best of Sly all 3 hours of our program today, as we do in the month of June anyway, where we celebrate June as Black Music Month. So we're going to lighten things up in this last half hour. I could use that. How about you? Comedian Daphnique Springs is here to talk about her new Hulu special, LOL Live, presented by Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Productions. Plus, Daphne has a number of tour dates we'll share with you as we move through this half hour with her. But first, here's some sound from Daphnique doing what she does.
But really, the reason why I want to be in a relationship because my family on my ass about having kids. That's a topic of discussion every time I go home. Hey, when you gonna bring us some grandbabies? And I'm like, don't y'all want me to get married first? And they were like, nah, we're past that. Just come home a single mother. You're a strong black woman. It works. Sometimes I think about being a single mother, too, because I know if I become a single mother as a strong black woman, I'm going to have me a LeBron James first-round draft pick. Yeah. Yeah, look at her. She like, ballin'. Single black women produce NBA players, don't they? And if you don't believe me, just look at this, because LeBron James' son, he got his father LeBron, mother, you know, they married. LeBron James' son went second-round draft pick number 55. And that's because he got a daddy, you know? No motivation to be the best no more, you know? All I'm saying is Jesus didn't have a daddy and he the last Messiah, you know? Barack Obama, first black president, no father. All I'm saying is I'm sitting on presidential pussy right now.
She is the pride of Palm Beach County. It's a long way from Palm Beach County to L.A., Daphnique. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
If I complained, I'd be in great. I am doing remarkably well. Honored to have you in studio. How did this comedy thing become your path?
You know what? I moved to Los Angeles Christmas Day 2009. I was like, yo, this is about to be my gift to Los Angeles. Okay? Me. Popped up. I don't even celebrate Christmas because I grew up Muslim. But I was like, you know what? Let me give them their holiday and show up. And my mother is originally from Los Angeles. My grandmother lives in Inglewood. So I already had family here and already had a place to stay. So it was a no-brainer, drop out of college and come straight here.
And why on Christmas Day? What was happening? You couldn't come in the other day?
The tickets was the cheapest
I
back
get
then.
it. I get
You know
it.
what I mean? Because who's traveling on Christmas Day? The day before, the day after, crazy. But the day of, they was like, why are you here? And I was like, I'm going to L.A. and I'm never coming back.
It sounds like, and this is not untrue for a lot of comedians I've had the chance to talk to over the course of my career, that this committee thing pulled you. You were just drawn to this. Tell me about that process.
Yes, I was actually drawn to it because I know a lot of comedians, I hear them tell stories all the time. Like, oh, I grew up watching Saturday Night Live, or I grew up watching Eddie Murphy and stand up late and sneaking. And that wasn't my story at all, because I grew up with a father who didn't watch sports. All he did was fish. That was his thing, fishing. Yeah. So that's what we did every single day. I used to sell fish. That was our thing in South Florida, was fishing. And so a boyfriend of mine, when I was like 18, he took me to a comedy show. And so I was like, oh, this seems pretty cool. Didn't think anything about it. I knew I always wanted to move to L.A. to be in the industry, but I didn't know which facet of it I wanted to be in. And then I went to another comedy show. And I was like, oh, I want to try this. And they was like, yeah, you can come back. It was right over in this area. They was like, hey, you bring 10 people, we'll put you on stage. And I was like, all right. I told my grandma to bring her.
Sound like the Comedy Act Theater down the street.
Okay. I told my grandma to bring her and all her wigs. That should be 10 people right there.
When did you know that this was in fact your calling? It's one thing to be titillated by or intrigued by it. It's nothing to go to a bunch of comedy shows and say this seems cool. But when did you know that this was your gift?
I think I knew maybe like 5 years in. It took a little minute.
Took a while,
yeah. Because you're trying to. I remember I read a quote one time. It says you don't know that when you're having a difficult time, if it's God telling you to go with it and stick through it, or if it's saying you should choose another path. And so with that being said, you go through that moment where you're like, is this for me? Should I go in a different direction? And I decided to just stick it out, because every time I would walk away from it, it would call me back. And so I would say 2015, I was like, yo, I'm never going to quit again, because I used to quit a lot. I used to be like, yo, I'm not doing this. I'll take a year and a half break, because I started 2010. And then 2015, I said, you know what if I put my all in this and go 100% and see how far it takes me? And it's taken me this far, and I feel like I got a lot farther to go.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that story, because it is amazing what happens when you commit yourself to a cause, whatever that cause is. Tell me more about what happened when you actually committed yourself to it.
When you commit commit yourself to something, I think a lot of people are sitting on dreams and they're not fully committed to them. Maybe because of naysayers, family, friends, children, all these excuses and obstacles that you make up in your head to block you. But once you hone in on something, and I tell people, if you can dedicate some time that you would dedicate going to somebody else's job into your dreams, if you can split that and then let it grow, or take 25% of that time you would do over here watching TV, traveling, and just put it to your dreams, you'll see them really come to fruition.
Yeah, I say all the time that the best ideas, the greatest gifts can be found in the graveyard. Because too many folk go to their graves with good ideas and with great gifts they never did anything with. And you'd be amazed how the universe sort of aligns with you and lines up behind you when you commit yourself.
And commit it's going to line up with you. We got to be specific.
Yeah.
It's going to line up with you maybe 5 years in, okay?
It may take
we
a
don't
minute.
want y'all to come in and be like, oh, it's been 5 months. Oh, no, sweetie, you got another 4 years to go.
No, these niggas be like, it's been
Treat it
5
like college.
These niggas like, it's been 5 days, man. It's
Okay.
only been 5 days, man. You mentioned coming out here on Christmas Day, and you mentioned your family. So when you leave your fishing job in Florida and come to Los Angeles, and you tell your family, I'm going to be a comedian, they did what? Was that the biggest laugh?
You know what? It actually was, because people, it's like a shock factor. Like, what? How you, because, you know, I only had 10 credits left to graduate with a chemistry degree. And I went and did
chemistry.
Yes, I did an internship, and I was like, ugh, this is boring. I can't spend the rest of my life here. I got to go.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, you end up having kids, somebody gets sick, you end up getting in a car accident. Something can hold you back. Sometimes you got to drop everything and just go.
That's it.
So, but after a while, I remember telling my dad, he was like, you know, college has been around for X amount of decades. He said, it'll always be here.
Yeah.
And my mom said, you know, your grandma live out there. We talked to her. And my grandmother, my cousin just moved, because, you know, in the black community, grandparents be raising everybody kids.
That's right. That's right. Everybody.
So my grandma have a little cousin there. So she said, baby, it's a twin-size bed in there. You free to have it. And I said, okay, grandma, I'm on my way.
Your mom and dad were that cool with that decision?
Yeah, because I think I've never been the type of person that was bad at decisions.
Yeah.
You never had to worry about me getting mixed up in the wrong crew or doing this over here. So, you know, I think they were just supportive. Yeah. And if so, I was young enough to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes as you get older, and that's what people wait on. They prolong their dreams till they get older. Then when you're older, you need a nap.
Exactly.
No, and not only that, you just need a nap.
Yeah.
Okay? Your knee done went out, and you be like, God, is this a sign for me to sit my ass down? And you don't know. You can't really gauge the signs because it's age catching up with you. So I was young enough to fail. But I say do it in all aspects of your life.
Yeah, we can't stay woke all the time, can we?
Yeah.
When we come forward, I heard that chemistry thing. I want to come back to that chemistry thing in a second here. We're listening and talking to Daphnique Springs. I'll give you some tour dates where you can find her in the days and weeks to come. Glad to have you tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Pasadena City College is proud to support Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr. For over 100 years, PCC has been a pillar of the community, and we're here for you as we work together to recover from the Eaton fire and rebuild Altadena's future. At PCC, we offer diverse career education programs that prepare you for in-demand jobs, fueling both today's recovery and tomorrow's growth. Whether you're starting a new career or advancing your skills, PCC gives you tools to build your future and your community. Pasadena City College, here for the Dina, here for you. Learn more at pccfordina.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley in Daphnique Springs. I was telling Daphnique that chemistry, she was telling how she was just 10 credits away from her chemistry degree. Chemistry is as far from comedy as LA is from New York.
That's a fact, but you know what's in common
What?
is the C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just scratch out that HEMISTY.
They both start with a C. That is funny. I could have started this conversation by asking you about your first name. With a name like Tavis, you can imagine I've been asked about that more times than I can count, and I still get, after all these years of doing what I do, I still get called Travis every blue moon. Somebody called me Travis earlier today on the program. I said, man, I've known you 25 years, Negro. You can't call me Travis. But it happens. You know, I've been called worse. I just tell people, just don't call me late for dinner. Whatever you call me, right? But you know I got asked about that name, Daphnique.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I just found out how I got my name.
Tell me then. I want to know.
2 years ago. So my parents were
your whole life you've been living with the name Daphnique.
And didn't know how did
the
they
origin
come
of
up
it.
with it?
Okay,
you know what I mean?
I want to hear this story. Tell me.
So my parents have been divorced since I was 6 years old. So over 30 years. And I took both of them to Columbia. And my dad told the story of how he, came up with the name. My mother's name is Daphne, and my mother got pregnant at 16 years old. And, getting pregnant that young, she tried to hide the pregnancy a little bit. She only had went to like one doctor's visit. And when she went to that one doctor's visit, I was turned around. And so they couldn't tell what my genitals were. So they didn't know if I was a boy or girl. So I used to be transgender. You know what I mean? So now I'm a she, her, it's confirmed. But when my mom gave birth to me, she was kind of out of it. And my father named me. He said at the time, I liked your mother a lot. Her name was Daphne, so I named you Daphnique.
Wow. I ain't mad at Pops.
Yeah.
At least you got a story to it.
I was like, what in the Ike Turner? You ain't gonna ask my mama for no input?
What in the Ike Turner?
I'm like, Mama, did he animate you with my name? Eat the cake, Eat
the cake, anime.
Yeah, he didn't check in with my mama to see if it was okay, but she said she liked the name.
Yeah. Do you like the name? That's all that matters.
I like the name. You know
Okay.
what I mean? It's unique. I think depending on what part of the country you're from, you say it differently.
Yeah.
It's Daphnique with 2 syllables.
Yeah.
But people in the South say Daphnique.
Yeah.
So it's 3 syllables.
That's a
I
black
don't even
thing.
correct people no more.
Yeah, that's a black thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Daphnique.
Yeah.
I get it. But it is Daphnique, and she is unique, and she got a lot of tour dates coming up. When we come forward, I'm going to share with you some of the places where you can find her in the weeks to come, and tell you about her socials, where you can read more about her. Daphnique Springs, our guest, and we haven't got to the Hulu thing. We'll talk about that, of course, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet,
especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
Tavis Smiley and Daphnique Springs. So you can find a bunch of dates, and I can't read all of them, but I do want you to know that IamDsprings.com. That's her. That's where all the stuff is, all the information. I am D Springs. She ain't gonna make y'all try to spell Daphnique. So thank you for that. I mean, I can do it, but IamDsprings.com is where all these dates are. But she's going to be in Denver. She's going to be in Pleasanton, California. She's going not quite home, but Jacksonville. How far is Jacksonville from home?
About 6 hours.
About 6 hours. Okay, you can pop in and see your parents.
Little drive.
Your mama's in Vegas now, so that's different. But anyway, Jacksonville, Florida, a bunch of dates Daphnique has in the coming weeks. So again, it's IamDsprings.com where you can find that information. I want to close in the last 3 or 4 minutes we have talking about this Hulu special. Tell me how this came to be for you. I was saying to Daphnique during the break that I do celebrate this about Dave Chappelle. You got that Netflix deal and gave deals to everybody. Lunel, Donnell Rawlings, Earthquake. A lot of people came here to promote their specials that Dave Chappelle teed up for them at Netflix. Kevin Hart has to do with Hulu, and he's bringing some comedians out on this Hulu thing, and you're one of them. Tell me about this project.
Yes, so what I love about Kevin Hart is he has a production company, and I think that's really great, especially for giving out opportunities to up and coming, and also people who have been around for a long time. But his production company has given me plenty of work over the years, great opportunities, and this special was one of them. Yeah. So I got a call like, hey, they want you to do a special. At first, they didn't know exactly where it would end up, and we landed at Hulu, which is a great platform because Hulu is really they're coming up on the specials.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had some great contenders just recently go over there. Kevin Hart. I believe you had, Bill Burr and a few other people. So it's really exciting to share a platform with some of these people.
Yep. When you get the invite to do a special, a televised special, you start as a comedian, as Daphnique Springs. You start where? How do you prepare? It's one thing to go to a comedy club. You're so good now, you can do this in your sleep, right? Mm-hmm. But a special a little bit different. That's why it's called a special. It needs to be special. How do you approach that?
I had just shot a special prior to that, which had dropped a few months later from when they asked me to shoot this special. It was only 4 months out. Right. And they said I couldn't do anything on that special. So now within those 4 months, and I had to craft something else because they didn't let me know 4 months ahead of time. Right. So within a short period of time, I had to craft something else. But you mentioned Dave Chappelle. I remember I was in, did a show with Dave Chappelle. He didn't book me, but it was like a promoter booked the show. And Dave was on it. I was on the show. And I remember he was talking in the back, and he said, hey, He asked me a little bit about comedy. I'd known him over the years, and he said, where you living now? You live out here? I was like, no, I live in L.A. He said, I just want you to know that every comic should do 2 years in New York. Mm-hmm. He said, it'll make you the best. And I said, okay. So I called up Keith Robertson from Philly, live in New York. I said, hey, can you give me an audition at the Comedy Cellar? He said, yes. I said, if I got passed at the Comedy Cellar, which was one of the #1 clubs in the world, I would move to New York. And she passed me in September. November, I moved to New York. I did a little over 2 years, maybe 2 years and 3 months. And then I came back to L.A. I went from doing about, I would say, probably 10 shows a month here to 61 to 71 shows a month. Yeah. So being able to do all that comedy, you have so many jokes and stuff you can pull from. Yeah. And they're really big on giving you the tapes, the videotapes of you on stage. So I was able to, even when they want to see your set prior to, so I was able to pull and piece actually the set together prior.
That advice from Dave sounds like good advice in retrospect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
you want to be the best, right?
You are.
And I was able to financially be stable to be able to go to New York, because you can't live out there and be broke, because you might get stabbed on the in the subway.
On the subway, yeah. We don't want none of that. I'm glad that things have worked out for the pride of Palm Beach County. Whether in New York or whether in L.A., she's having her say these days on this Hulu special and on the stage. All the details about everything Daphnique is doing, imdsprings.com. Daphnique, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I've enjoyed this immensely. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in to Tavis, Smiley, and as always, keep the faith.
Somebody that just loves to learn and Mom loves the both of them. You see it's in the blood.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.